Hi guys, Casper MMA here, and today we are back with another PFL predictions video on the channel. Today giving my predictions for PFL Europe 3, Ray versus Long. Now the last PFL card we did was PFL Mania 3, which went alright. I didn't get the main event, but for most of the fights I predicted correctly and we came out pretty well. But before I jump into today's card, make sure if you're not already, go and hit the subscribe button down below if you do enjoy the type of content. It's free and it's much appreciated. So this event is in Glasgow, Scotland, and we have a total of 13 bouts on the card, and we kick things off with the first one, which is Lewis McGrillen-Evans versus Dean Garnett. I can't even butcher English names. I butcher like the Saudi names in the last card. Can't even get the English names right. So, Lewis McGrillen-Evans, 9-1, 23 years of age as well. All of his wins basically coming by knockout, apart from one or two. Well, just one actually, which was his second to last fight, which he lost by decision to Wesley Meyer. But he came back with a decision win after that in the PFL. And he has a lot of KOs. This guy is pretty dangerous, I've got to say that, you know. Only very young as well. Whereas Dean Garnett is 36, so he's the opposite of young in MMA terms. He's all of his losses have come by submission, but he's on like a 4-fight winning streak, I think this is. So this guy is decent as well. I mean, he's got a few KOs in there, a few decisions as well. So it's not an easy pick, this one, you know. He's got a young guy versus an old guy, but like both of them in pretty good form at the minute. But I think I will be going with Lewis McGrillen-Evans here. I mean, you can't really knock him here. He's got 8 wins by KO. He's a very dangerous man. So I reckon he's going to get another KO here. And I think he gets the KO in round number 2. Now, moving up the card to Matis Zaharovs versus Brian Hyslop. This fight, Zaharovs, 6-3, the Irishman, 26 years of age, 5 wins coming by KO, 3 losses by decision. So this guy, he actually lost to Lewis McGrillen-Evans, who I've just talked about. So that was his last fight, but before that he had a couple KO wins. So apart from he's lost 2 in a row by decision before that. So when he comes up against tough opposition, he does lose, but he has beat some opponents before. Whereas Brian Hyslop, same record, the Scottish man, 6-3. He's lost his last fight, which on some random promotion never heard of, by KO, and then he's got most of his wins by decision. Got a few by submission as well. He's been in and out of a load of promotions. Like, he never really gets a winning streak going, does Brian here. So I feel like this is a slightly easier pick, even though Zaharovs did lose his last fight to McGrillen-Evans. He didn't get KO'd by him, which is fair enough. So I think he gets this win by KO. I think Zaharovs gets the KO in round number 1. Now, moving up the card to Mark Ewen versus Yasin Chtatou. I've probably butchered that name. No idea how you say that, but he's French. Record of 2-3-1. Can't say that's a very good record, to be fair. Is on a 2-fight winning streak, I think, or 1 fight. I don't know what pancrase means, but he did beat some guy by KO in his last fight, but he was on a 3-fight losing streak before that. So not the greatest record there. Mark Ewen, 5-1 on the other hand. Looks pretty good, I've got to say. He's only lost once to decision, but most of his wins coming by KO. He's got one by submission as well. So this guy, Mark Ewen, looks pretty dangerous. Scottish as well, fighting his home country. So I think Ewen is going to get this job done. I think it's pretty easy. And I think he gets the KO in round number 1. Now, moving up the card too. Gemma Auld versus Veronika Pietruszka. Probably butchered that name there, but Pietruszka. Both of these girls are 0-0 in their professional careers, but on her amateur career she is 9-5. All of her wins coming by submission. So if she gets Auld down, it could she could end it right there, which is a possibility. But Gemma Auld, on the other hand, 6-0. Is 34, so she's quite late making her professional debut, to be fair. But she's got undefeated amateur record, to be fair. Looks pretty decent. Won on the Cage Warriors Academy or something like that. She looks well rounded. She's got win by KO, 3 by submission, 2 by decision. So yeah, I think Auld has the better amateur record here. I mean, she's undefeated. What can I say? So I think Auld will get this job done by decision. Now, moving up the card to Karolina Wojcik versus Paulina Wisniewska. Yes, just you're gonna have to go with that because I cannot say that. We've got 2 Polish ladies here. Paulina Wisniewska, 25 years of age. She has won all 3 of her fights. She's 3-0. She's 2 by decision, 1 by KO. So you know, not too shabby there. Her opponent, Wojcik, yep, that's how you say it. Karolina, 29 years of age, so slightly older. 10 wins by decision. So classic women's fighter there, just winning by decision. She's only won 1 of her last 3 fights though. She lost her belt in Invicta to somebody. But before that, she had a pretty big winning streak going, all by decision. So both these women don't look too bad really. 12-5 to 3-0. But I think I will go with the undefeated fighter here. I mean, I don't think Wojcik has looked really that great. I don't think she's fought the best of opponents. So I feel like Wisniewska has a good chance of winning this. So I will be picking her to get this job done. And I think she gets it done by decision. Now, moving up the card to Dyer versus Valentina Scatizzi. Now, Dyer, 5-0, English as well. Only 23 years of age, so she looks pretty good. Last win coming by head kick as well. So she shows she's dangerous. So that's pretty good. Whereas, sorry, I've got a cold at the minute, so very sore throat, and I'll probably be coughing multiple times this video. But Scatizzi, 3-2 professional record. She did lose to Dakota Ditcheva, who is fair enough. She's like 13-0, but then she won her last fight by decision, so she bounced back off that. But I just don't think she's got as an impressive record as Dyer has. Dyer hasn't lost yet. I mean, 5-0 as well. She's had quite a few fights, so I feel like Dyer is going to get this job done, and I reckon I think Dyer, she got a KO in the last fight. I think she gets a KO in this fight, and I think she gets the KO in round number 2. Now, moving up the card to Connor Hughes versus Ignacio Capella. Both these guys, impressive records. Hughes 9-1, Capella 8-1. Hughes, the Englishman, is on a 2-fight winning streak, both by KO. So that's not bad at all. He's only lost going by decision to Dylan Took, who is Irish. But before that, yeah, he's got quite a few wins by submission. So a lot of rear naked choke wins. Did win his last fight by uppercut, right hook, and hammer fist. So that's a lot of detail there. But his opponent, Capella, 8-1. He's only lost coming by submission in his first ever fight. And he looks pretty impressive since then. But I do have to question the level of opponents he has been fighting on these regionals. Like he's won 8 times, but who are these people he's been fighting? I'm not too sure. So I think I'm gonna go with Hughes here. You know, he's had one more win than Capella. Capella's been finished by submission once. I think Hughes gets the submission here, and I think he gets it in round number 1. Now, moving up the card too. Jakub Kaszuba versus Daniel Scatizzi. I don't know if he's related to the Valentina Scatizzi fighting on the same card. Maybe he is. It doesn't seem like a common surname, that one. But Scatizzi, 13-7. Not the best record. I'm sorry for the coughing, by the way. It's really bad. But yeah, 5 losses by decision. 5 wins by decision as well. 4-3 in the Bella arm. 1 win in the PFL, which was his last fight, to Alexander Chizov. He won that by heel hook. So he's not the worst, to be fair, but can't look past Kaszuba's record. He is 12-0, 29 years of age as well. This guy looks pretty good. Like, he has not lost. He beat Dylan Took, who we were just talking about, who beat like Connor Hughes on this card. So yeah, I can't say much bad about This Kaszuba guy, I mean, he's undefeated. He's got most of his wins by decision, but he has a couple KOs, a couple submissions in there as well. So I reckon Kaszuba is going to get this job done by decision. Now, moving at the card too. Julian Pierre Lopez versus Alexander Luster. Now, Julian Pierre Lopez, 7-3-1 on his record. It's not a too bad record. I mean, his last loss was to Bernardo Sapage, who is now in the UFC, but he did have that really bad flying knee knockout. I think that was like KO of the year or something. That one by Vinicius Oliveira. But since then, he's won both his fights by finish. So he's not a bad fighter. Is Lopez here? He's 34 years of age, so getting on a little bit, but he's not too bad. Whereas Alexander Luster, I don't know how old he is, but I'm guessing he's the younger fighter from his picture. But he's 8-1 in MMA. One loss coming to Max Holzer by split decision, so that's not bad since Holzer is undefeated. So a split decision there is not too bad. He's got a lot of wins by submission. Four wins by submission, 4 by KO. I don't think this guy is going to a decision in this fight. I can't lie. But it's a close one. But I do think Luster is the slightly better fighter here. I feel like Luster, he's going to get a finish here, to be fair. So I think Luster gets the submission in round number 2. Now, moving up the card to Jack Grant versus Florim Zendeli. So Jack Grant coming to this fight, 20-8, a very big record there. I mean, he's got a lot of fights under his belt, to be fair. He won his last fight as well by KO in round number 1, so that's not bad. He did lose his by split decision to a name I'm not going to try and pronounce because that's crazy. But the guy he was fighting was 18-1, so he did well to get a split decision there. That's cool. So he's only really lost. He's got like 5 losses to decision, 3 by KO. So Jack Grant fighting out the UK is pretty decent. His opponent Florim Zendeli, 8-1-1 his record. He's 1-0 in the PFL. Beat some guy by rear naked choke in PFL Europe 1. Before that, he drew to some guy, and then in the rematch knocked him out by a cut in round 4. So he got his revenge there. But his one loss was to KO to some random guy, and it's a tough one because Zendeli has looked pretty decent in his fights, but I don't really know the level of competition he has been fighting, whereas Jack Grant has fought some pretty good people, so I do think Grant is going to get this done, and I think he gets the KO in round number 1. Now, moving up the card too, Ibrahima Mane versus Daniel Miceli. So a few Italians on this card, to be fair. We've already seen a few already. But Miceli, 12-5, his record. All 5 his losses coming by KO. So this guy does not have a very good chin on him, I can tell you that. But when he doesn't get KO'd, he wins by like submission and that. He's got a lot of wins by submission and decision. Won his last fight by Von Flu choke. But he has been KO'd quite a few times, so that is one to look out for there. So he's fighting Ibrahim Mane, who has a few KOs, to be fair, 5 to be precise, 6 wins by decision as well. His last fight was a grappling match to Stevie Ray, who is the main event of this card. But to be fair, before that, he is on a 6 fight winning streak. Is old Mane fighting out of Gambia, that is. So don't know many Gambian fighters, to be fair. 35 years of age, so he's getting on a bit, but I feel like he has got quite a lot of wins coming into this fight here, whereas Miceli only has 1 or 2, I think. He had a no contest, then he had a win. So it could be a close one here. I think Miceli can take this if he doesn't get KO'd. But I do think Mane is going to come in here, and I think he's going to test that chin of Miceli, and I think he's going to get the KO in round number 2. Now, moving up the card too, Robert Whiteford versus Roger Huerta. So, I think both these guys are ex-UFC. Whiteford, was I think both these guys are ancient. Whiteford is 41. Let me check how old Huerta is. He's also 41 years of age. So damn, they've got some old guys fighting on this fight here. Huerta went 6-2 in the UFC, so pretty impressive there. Then he came out and went to beat Bellator, lost quite a few times, and then he's lost a lot since then. To be fair, he's had a few wins by one by illegal elbows, one by split decision, one by ground and pound. But apart from that, quite a few losses. I mean, he's lost two of his last two of his last 4 fights to KO, one by submission, one by decision. So he's on a 4-fight losing streak here, whereas Whiteford is on only lost one of his last fight. Before that was a no contest, but he's had some wins in the last couple of years, you know, and he did lose his last. Both these guys got KO'd in the last fight, so I can't really see much happening in this fight, really. I mean, they're both just old guys, really. 41. It's not going to be very exciting, so I reckon Whiteford takes this, and I reckon he gets the job done by decision. Now, moving at the card too, Stevie Ray versus Lewis Long. Now, we're talking about ex-UFC fighters. Stevie Ray, also ex-UFC, only 34 years of age though, so not quite the 41 of the last two guys. But yeah, he went 7-4 in the UFC, so that's not too bad. He actually won his last fight to Michael Johnson by majority decision. Then he went to PFL after that, beat Anthony Pettis a couple times, and then he's lost since then. He's lost 3 in a row to 2 by KO, 1 by decision. So not had the best run recently, but yeah, he's getting on a bit. Whereas his opponent, Lewis Long, is 19-7, 35. So actually slightly older than that of Ray. Most of his wins coming by submission, but he has been KO'd and submitted before. His last fight was a loss to he had a fight with some guy which has been flagged for illegitimacy. So in some random promotion I've never heard of before called Raged UK. So no idea what that is. But in Bellator, he beat Michael Dubois by rear naked choke. Then after that, he lost the decision. So looking at his record, I don't think Long is that great really at the minute. I mean, he's won quite a few wins in the past, but he is getting on a bit now. So 35 years of age. He's actually older than Stevie Ray, and I think Stevie Ray's gonna get this job done. You know, I mean, he was UFC level at one point. I can't say the same for Lewis Long. So I feel Stevie Ray is going to get the job done, and I reckon he gets the decision. So there are my picks for PFL Europe 3. Let me know down in the comments if you agree or disagree with any of my picks. And that's all for today's video. If you guys enjoyed it, maybe leave a like, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.